Hey there, Fizz. Congratulations on winning tonight's DigiGalaxy tournament. We had 8 people show up. You were number one with the puppets list in front of us here. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. I'm quite confident with this list.
Did you bring this list as a serious competitive list, or is this your side deck? Because usually I see you playing red decks.
This is a very competitive list, in my opinion.
Okay, then let's go through it.
Hell yeah.
So it is puppets. You are on the Nyaromon, which I see is becoming more popular. As far as the rookies go, mostly conventional, but you do have the one of EX11 Hanimon. I haven't seen this too much in um, Puppets list, so why do you play this one?
I really like being able to delete it and cycle out for the search. I think oftentimes the Shumon that can play out a token that isn't in this list
Oh,
is um, normally the one people play, but often you're stuck on a token that can't do a lot of follow-up. The Honeymon is really nice in the sense that you can play out a secondary body that can search. You can use it to go up another stack after the fact. Um, and more importantly, it's your out under Crimson Blaze. Let's say my opponent, I make a Kaguya board, for example. My opponent plays Crimson Blaze. It can be really difficult to recover from that, especially like considering my effects need to delete something to protect myself or to end an attack. Um, Whereas the Hanimon, I can play it, just hard play it, when I get Crimson Blazed, I pass turn, and suddenly I have essentially two bodies on board for the price of one, versus the one body I would have prior. Um, so it's really, really nice for that. And as I said, being able to play out the Surge Shoe, or even the Reduce Evo Shoe to memory manipulate in certain situations is genuinely really nice.
how about this Namakimon as a one of? Obviously, you're not evolving into it, but it can be played out. So, when are you using this Namakimon?
Yeah, we can play it off the Central and the Kaguya. Um, the idea is obviously to give it D-Dig protection and DP reduction protection. Normally good into matchups like Jupiter, Ruin Loop, and the Mirror. It's really good in the Mirror. The other thing that I think people forget is if you have three or fewer securities, you do get to have blocker reboot. Um, with the Nyaro egg, there are certain scenarios where you could manipulate your security so you have three before playing the Marquee, so you can get all the benefit. Um, I think the blocker reboot is really, really nice to shove on Central. If you are in a position where you can't go for lethal, but you have the ability to make a Central Kaguya board, you can give blocker reboot to Central, so even if the Kaguya gets answered, you still have a protected blocker in play, which makes decks like Medusa just cry. It's really difficult for them to get around multiple protected blockers.
I played Medusa today in the tournament, and you were able to stun two of my tamers with the Sistermon Seal Awakened. So, why are you playing this as? I mean, it's great. You have it here as a one of, and it will go over one of your two Sistermon Seals here that
Yeah.
you could also play for free off of your sixes. So, when do you want to pull out the Sistermon Seal combo?
So the Seal Awakened does a few things. An important thing is it offsets our own security burn. A lot of decks can comfortably kill you from 4 security, so rather than risking that, we can do uh, CL Central play CL game one, Evo into CL Awakened for one. We go to end of turn timing in any way, shape, form. Um, we can go effect of Nyaro, effect of CL Awakened, put itself to top of security, so we're back to 6 security. Then we can use the Nyaro to trash our own security to gain a memory to prevent us from going below 5. That way we can comfortably get in some damage early on without putting ourselves in a vulnerable situation that some decks like Jupiter might do, where they trash security really fast and then get Medusa OTK'd.
That's cool.
The other really cool thing you can do with the card is, because its trash effect is when Digimon are played, you may digivolve one of your Systemon CL into this card without paying the cost. The exact same scenario described. You evo this on your CL, it end of turn runs away. You overclock, you Nyaro, you trash this back to trash, or you trash this from security to trash, and you pull back turn. You can play any Digimon. It just says when any of your Digimon are played, you may digivolve into this card on the CLR.
Yeah, you did
You
have
can
some memory manipulation going below 0 and back up to 0 when you had the
yeah.
Nyaro and the Sistermon, and then that let you
You get
overclock multiple times.
yes, you get to loop the CL Awakened. So let's say your opponent's playing a Liberator deck like Vortextra, Medusa. Let's say your opponent has a Home Roast you don't want to tap down. You can stun 2, if not potentially 3 things on board by just looping the CL Awakened over and over and over. And it kind of can prevent your opponent from being able to answer you at all. There are definitely scenarios where you can lock down your opponent's real key pieces, and it prevents them from being able to answer your board and stop the lethal from follow up next turn.
Yeah, that's a good tech. The rest of your deck, I would say, is pretty conventional. You do. Some people have 3 level 7s. You have 2, both coming in handy. Yep, that's all the
I
questions
think
I had
then,
for you. Do you have anything else you wanted to highlight here?
for sure, I think a lot of people tend to forget that you are running so many consistency pieces. I find a lot of players who play puppets tend to look at their opening hand and go, let's say I have rookie 4/5 and a level 7, maybe an extra rookie. That hand is okay. It's pretty good. It could be better. You have 3 training, 4 emblem, 4 searcher, 4 Mirai as cards that can search, and there are 11 rookies that you're running in this list. There are 22 cards that unbrick you. Never be afraid to hard mulligan. If your hand is just good, throw it away. You can get a better one. You are going to have a very, very hard time actually bricking. And the more searches in your opening hand, the more trainings, the more emblems, the more Mirais, the more searcher shoes, the better. And I think going for that hand and digging for it is much easier to do in this build particularly. I also think a lot of people tend to lean much more into the OTK. My deck takes that concept and goes, what if we don't OTK? Which is why we're running the 3 Kaguya, whereas a lot of lists either will run 2 or none at all. I really like Kaguya as a fallback to create really difficult to deal with boards that can potentially just prevent opponents from playing until I can get established further. It's a really good way of controlling game state and putting your opponent in a position where they can't go for lethal. The same way the system on CL Awakened is stunning and locking down boards and preventing lethal.
And do you think you want to go first or second with this list?
I actually don't think there's a right answer. I think going first gives you the potential for the OTK, but going second is just you open that one extra emblem, your opponent, especially with like Shy running around and a lot of decks wanting to pass 3 or 4 on turn 1 at the moment, getting that extra emblem, potentially being able to go, here's a rookie, here's 2 searchers. I am very, very able to play the game from turn 2, do something. So I think going either is completely fine. First, again, you can get the high roll. If you get the high roll and kill turn 2, your opponent can't respond, they don't get time to react. But going second means that you have the higher consistency. It gives you much higher ceiling because of the number of cards in hand, and you can set up really, really egregious control boards based on what your opponent's playing because you'll have more information to go off. And you can kind of see which pieces they've gotten so far, maybe what they're looking for, maybe if they're missing anything. And you can play around that and create your board based on what line they have access to.
Excellent. All right. Thank you again, Fizz. We can wrap it up there.
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
And see you in. This was DigiGalaxy today, but we'll see you around more at Eagle's Nest. And have a great rest of your night.
Hell yeah.